passionate and in-depth analysis with seasoned guest. YS Live with your host Yemi Sonde on Splash 105.5 FM Tuesdays 10 to 12 noon. YS Live Politics.
The more we now reorientate people, the more people begin to see that leadership is not about do or die and that politics shouldn't be about me but we.
Sports, security, law, education.
It is only when the education of a country is well developed that that country can have the true development.
Entertainment, economy, health, business, religion, culture, environment, health, and fact files to widen your horizon. YS Live, Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan, 10 to 12 noon, Tuesdays. YS Live, English and Yoruba language.
To bawa and become legally, you are the one constituted to be there as the authority.
For advert placement and inquiries, call 0803 552 9883.
YS Live with Yemi Sonde on Splash 105.5 FM. YS Live.
YS Live.
YS Live.
káàárọ̀ ṣé dáadáa ni mo bá yín ṣé dáadáa lẹ́wà adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run kó tún sọ wá di ọjọ́ òní happy new month ní kákíra wa oṣù ayọ̀ ló máa jẹ́ despond to the G lóṣù yìí gbogbo ohun tá a ti ń tọrọ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó dàbí pé ó mú slow motion Ọlọ́run ọba mi ó dá wa lóhùn ní kánmọ́kánmọ́ sí ìgbéga ẹ̀ ó bá ń ṣàmì gbogbo ohun tí à ń fẹ́ gbogbo ohun tí à ń lé àbọ̀sì ju bá a ṣe rò lọ adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé ojú wa rí oṣù tuntun oṣù ayọ̀ ló máa jẹ́ fún mi àti yín wọ́n nírùkú wọlé wọ́n nírú òkú jáde nínú ilé mi àti ilé tiyín náà a ní rí wàhálà ní rẹ́jọ́ ẹgbọ́n kí ni káwọn lọ́ọ̀yà jẹ ẹjọ́ ò ní jẹ́ tiwa ṣùgbọ́n a máa ráyọ̀ ní o a sì máa rí ìdùnnú nínú ọ̀dẹ wa gbogbo ohun tá a bá ń dáwọ́lé ó máa yọ sí èrè nínú oṣù yìí a gbọ́rọ̀ yẹn ayọ̀ lọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ yìí nínú ilé yìí nílé iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ mi àti lọ́dọ̀ tèmi náà a bá yín yọ̀ ẹ̀bí mi náà yọ̀ a jẹ àjọyọ̀ àti àmúrò ilé gbogbo ẹ̀ yóò sì dùn mọ̀ràn yín bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn o ẹ̀kọ́ lẹ̀ tẹ́ bá nígbàgbọ́ àrí bẹ́ẹ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run Yemi Sonde live on Splash 105.5 FM àtúntìdé bá a ṣe máa ń mú níbo là ń lọ lónìí ẹ ti mọ̀ pé lórí ètò yìí kò síbi tá a lè yà sí gbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ àgbẹ̀ gbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan ọ̀sìn gbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lera nígbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú nígbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ ètò ọrọ̀ ajé nígbà mí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ security ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò gbà mí a ṣe tèrè ìdárayá gbà mí a ṣe tamúlùdùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ní àyájọ́ àwọn ìwé ọ̀dọ̀ wọn la fẹ́ yà sí lónìí ṣùgbọ́n a fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa wọn ni gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí alágbàtọ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí alábàágbé gẹ́gẹ́ bí jígí táwọn ọmọ yìí ń wò kí làwọn nǹkan tí a ń ṣe tó nípa nínú ayé wọn nínú ìgbésí ayé wọn lọ́jọ́ iwájú tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti ń fi sínú ọpọlọ wọn látilẹ̀ tó ń affect wọn either positively or negatively ìyẹn sí dáadáa àbí sí dáadáa àríṣiríṣi àwọn nǹkan yìí la fẹ́ gbé yẹ̀wò ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan làwọn òbí máa ń ṣe tí wọ́n mọ̀ wípé progress tó mọ̀ wípé àwọn ọmọ yìí ń kálẹ̀ ó ó sì ń ṣòdiwọ̀n ayé wọn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan la máa ṣe nínú ilé. Wọ́n ń pè kinní kan ní background noise nínú ọpọlọ ọmọdé. Ó ti wà ńbẹ̀ láti ilẹ̀ pẹ̀pẹ̀. Ọmọ mi á máa dàgbà tán báyìí. Á de oníkanra. Ọmọ mi á dàgbà. Á de tó ń rèèpù àwọn èèyàn. Á de oníjàgídíjàgan. Ọmọ mi dàgbà. Yóò di ẹ má jẹ́ ó wọlé mi o. Ìgbó ló ti jáde. Òbí wo ló bí? Báwo làwọn òbí náà ṣe tọ́ ọ dàgbà? Àwọn ìwà wo làwọn òbí ẹ̀ ń wù ńgbà tó wà ní kékeré tó ń rí? Ọmọ mi á sì dàgbà. Ẹ pọ̀ ọmọ tó dáre. Kódà mo jẹ́rìí ẹ̀. Ẹni tí ò mọ̀rí gan a máa fògùn ẹ̀ gbárí. Pé òun jẹ́rìí ẹ̀. Òun jẹ́rìí ẹ̀. Òun jẹ́rìí ẹ̀. Ṣé wọ́n lè jẹ́rìí ọmọ yín? Ṣé ọmọ yín ò ní wọlé kán ní ẹ tilẹ̀kùn? Ara ohun tá a fẹ́ wò nìyẹn ipa tá à ń kó nínú ìgbésí ayé àwọn ọmọ yìí nípa ìdàgbàsókè wọn kó tó di tí wọ́n dà lọ́jọ́ iwájú. We're looking at children's mental health and emotional wellness. Children's mental health and emotional wellness. This has a whole lot of impacts in future. Our children are our future, right? Okay. So we look at so many issues that concerns that. But before then, I would go through what we have as newspaper headlines for today, Tuesday, the first day in the month of June. Happy New Month. Yes, it's going to be a glorious month for us all in Jesus' name. Amen. We're going to look at that angle this morning as our focus. And I can tell you sincerely that you're going to enjoy this program this morning. As parents or parents-to-be or guardian, please, I think this is very important. We should listen to this program today. We can't be talking politics all the time. We would have to come to the family sector and look at the growing up of our children, our impact as parents, as guardian, as alabagbe, what do we call alabagbe, neighbor, and all that, you know. So we look at that, the impact of Desmond to the G to my kid that is growing, the impact of Progress Media to my child that is just 3 years. That's if I don't have a child of 3 years. I'm just talking generally now. I don't even know how it feels to Tomoke Kiremamai. Who is grandpa? Are you okay? So, like I said, Jare, don't mind these people. They are just trying to tease themselves. Just want to DJ. Don't get punk. Yemi Sonde, we come back after the short break. We'll look at what we have as headlines briefly. Then I come to my guest is well. Let me just quickly introduce my guests before I come into the nitty-gritty of today's program. Mrs. Ibukun Oteshile, am I right?
Oteshile.
Mrs. Ibukun Oteshile, sorry. Mrs.
Emma so fine.
No wala. Obi to ati ni èlò ni fine yẹn. Baba ni owó alo baba lókè. Alo baba splash. Pé daddy ẹjọ́ wọ́n ní kí n sọ fine no. Porúkọ wọn dáadáa o. Mrs. Ibukun Oteshile. She's a child rights advocate, founder, Hope for Second Chance Foundation. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's nice having you on my show this morning.
It's a pleasure. I
have a doctor in the house, Dr. Alim Abdulrahman. He's a lecturer, Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, University of Ibadan, and consultant, psychiatrist, UCH Ibadan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Great to be with you here.
It's nice having you. Abdulrahman Halim.
You're right, sir.
Am I right?
You got it right.
You're fine.
You won't have to pay any fine.
Okay, good. Yes, my third guest will meet us in the course of our discussion. But let me quickly go to what we have here before I go for that short break. From the Punch newspaper, killing feeds. Ebonyi herdsmen killings rise to 52. Niger bandits kill 16. That's taken from the Punch. We closed shops when Hausa youths were brandishing cutlasses. Igbo trader. The Pan-Northern Socio-Political Organization, Arewa Consultative Forum, on Monday said Southeast leaders had left their responsibilities for a separatist group, the indigenous people of Biafra. The ACF National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Emmanuel Yahweh, stated this in an interview with The Punch as the number of those who died during X-Men attack on 3 Ebonyi communities rose to 52 on Monday. This is sad. It's getting too worrisome now. You want to sleep, you cannot sleep, and you are worried, God forbid, bad thing will not happen to me. But sincerely, the situation is getting tensed, and I think we should really be more security conscious now. And we won't keep quiet on this. We'll continue to talk about this. You want to contribute to that? You are not worried?
I'm worried.
You are worried too?
Yeah.
Oyo seized rice. Senate may summon Custom Comptroller General over resolution. Also taken from the Punch. There are strong indications that the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Services, Colonel Ahmed Ali, retired, may appear before the Senate soon over the refusal of his men to return bags of rice and cash they allegedly carted away from some shops in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. I hope they will return all this before it gets messy or messier. It's already messy. It's a messy situation. Falana, activists protest high cost of living, insecurity. That's taken from The Guardian. Scores of protesters yesterday took to the street of Lagos to protest insecurity and high cost of living in the states. The protesters, led by Jaye Gaskia, an activist, included human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, Femi Falana, and his son, Folani. Others were trade unions, civil society, students, farmers, and peasants. Please, how much is Congo rice now? We should not go there. Hello, ni Congo Gari, bye.
Gari ni kecheka. That's almost last time almost 1,000 naira, 950, 900, 950, depending on where you're buying from.
Jesus.
So before you even go to rice, they are mugari.
Kamugari. Àwọn ìgbèrò wọn rí oko lọ, wọn rí oko ṣiṣẹ́, wọ́n lé wọn lóko.
Pure water got to the 20 naira.
Pure water di kíni?
20 naira. It will mean 25 naira.
Ní kíni?
Pure water.
5 naira.
25 naira. 20 ogún àti 5. Àti márùn.
Ogún àti márùn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o.
Ní pure water.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Èló wà bottle water. Àti ṣe nǹkan. Ọlọ́run ó gbà wá o.
Tami.
Attack on Showere, a show of shame. Gani Adams. That's taken from the Nigerian Tribune. Attack on Showere, a show of shame. Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Iba Gani Adams, had condemned the Nigerian police following the firing of tear gas canister at the publishers of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Showere, during a protest at the Unity Fountain in Abuja, describing the attack as a show of shame and a reflection of federal government's intolerance to opposition. Adams expressed this concern on Monday in a statement by his special assistant on media, Kehinde Aderemi, even as he flagged the police for disrupting a peaceful protest and also opening fire on unarmed protesters. Attack on Showere, a show of shame. Gani Adams. That's from the Nigerian Tribune. And that's all we have on Newsline newspapers headline this morning, Tuesday, first day in the month of June. This is a very new month. June is my wife's month. Yes. What is Ẹja kò lówó ọjà pàpàdà wá jàre.
As the best man, I'd like to give a toast. But first, I have a few things to say. The money they are spraying the couple is reducing. It seems some people have rubbed glue under their shoes to pack it.
Clearly, he's been watching Comedy Nights or maybe My Siblings and I on Africa Magic Urban, DSTV channel 153. Now, you too can get inspired by our local entertainment. Get a HD decoder, dish, plus 1 month DSTV compact subscription for only 18,600 naira. Because great stories start on DSTV.
Hey, Oga and Madam, you don't see the room now. Make I show you the toilet where you could share with the other neighbors.
Now the toilet be this.
What's the apple?
Oga agent, you mean say na general toilets clean come white like this,
Yes, now. Na hypo toilet cleaner than they use to clean up and kill the yama germs come out.
Hypo toilet cleaner? Wow.
Wash your toilet at least once a week with Hypo toilet cleaner to keep it sparkling clean and germ free. Available in sachet for 35 naira only. Madam, now 2 years land one collect.
We go pay for 6 years,
Till
tí ẹ bá délé ọlọ́kà tẹ̀fẹ̀ tẹ̀ra yín lọ́rùn ẹ ó wí pé.
ẹ dákun ẹ fún mi ní àmàlà mẹ́rin pẹ̀lú gbẹ̀gìrì àti ewédú ẹ fi fùkù ṣàkì kọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ àbọ̀dì ògúnfe.
ṣùgbọ́n tẹ bá fẹ́ ra ògùn ibà ẹ wàá sọ pé.
ṣebí ibà ni.
bí ẹ ṣe máa ra oúnjẹ sínú yín bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́lẹ́ ló yẹ kẹ́ ẹ máa ra ògùn ibà yín ẹ máa ra Coartem ó wà lóní hóró aládùn ṣẹ́rì fún àwọn ọmọdé má fi ibà ṣeré yan èyí tó tọ́ láàyò yan Coartem tí kò bá sí àyípadà lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ mẹ́ta lọ rí dókítà rẹ̀.
iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná a máa fúnni ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ a sì máa mú ìdẹ̀rùn wá láti wá dènà ìjàmbá iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná ojúlówó wáyà tàbí kébù ló yẹ ká fi fa iná nínú ilé lọ́fíìsì àti nínú ìlú Pure wires and cables ní àwọn iléeṣẹ́ mọ̀nàmọ́ná àti àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe yàn láàyò ojúlówó ni kì í bó lára kò kì í jóná àbáàdì kì í kán sínú ó sì fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ ìdí nìyí tí Standard Organization of Nigeria fi fòǹtẹ̀tẹ̀ tí Nigeria Electrical Contractors náà fi dìbò fún bí copper cable ṣe wà ní aluminium cable ń bẹ nípele lówó tí kò gún pa Pure wires and cables tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára.
YS Live.
YS Live.
tí n bá wò tàwa àwọn ọmọdé wọ̀nyí inú mi ò kí ń dùn nítorí ta ló ló ń pa ọmọdé ta ló ṣètò fọmọdé ìyá ń jẹ ọmọdé o mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́. That we live too fast. The times are too good to last.
All right, yeah, welcome back. Like I said this morning, we are looking at children's mental health and emotional wellness. My guests are well seated. Ọlọ́run kó gbà mí lọ́wọ́ àǹtí ìbùkún yìí láàárọ̀ yìí o. Ó dàbí pé mi àti wọn àjọ mú nǹkan lẹ̀. My guests, don't mind me. I think the side of the bed I woke up from this morning seems to be a very playful side, but that notwithstanding, we will move.
It's a month.
It's a month. Okay, it's a month.
It's a month.
Are you a communicator?
We are moving.
Who are you?
We are moving.
All right. Yes, we move. Let me quickly run through a brief introduction of what I have as my focus this morning. Children are young and beautiful creatures. Yes, it's a fact. And with their innocent smile and carefree spirit, they still and hearts of many. They still the hearts of many. Little wonder there's a day set aside to celebrate them. Children's Day, which is celebrated in Nigeria on May 27th annually, is dedicated to celebrating children all over the world and for adults to remember their childhood experiences. Last week, Thursday, 27th May, was the 2021 Children's Day celebrations in Nigeria, where parents celebrated their children all over, taking them from one fun center to another. Media houses also gave platforms to children to handle some tasks, aiding some discovery of potentials, while the government, both federal and state, also took bold steps to celebrate these future leaders. I saw some children on my online station, Yes My Radio, and I was so impressed. I was so moved. And I was really, really, really happy. I saw those kids, and I saw future in those kids. They are future communicators, future broadcasters. I started like that too. So, though the United Nations set November 20 aside for Children's Day celebration, the day is celebrated on different dates in different countries. May 27 is traditionally the Children's holiday in Nigeria. China celebrates Children's Day on June 1. Today is China's Children's Day. While Japan celebrates theirs on May 5 and Britain celebrates theirs on August 20. Wise Life is dedicating today's program to celebrate our children, their mental health and emotional wellness. Children represent the future, and ensuring their physical, social, emotional, and language and cognitive development ought to be a priority for all societies. Child maltreatment, child abuse, or neglect during infancy and early childhood has been shown to negatively affect child development, including brain and cognitive development, and can have lasting effect. Abuse and neglect also affect children and youth social and emotional development, causing a host of problems with lifelong consequences. The following resources explain the physical, psychological, behavioral, and societal impact of child abuse and neglect. Children start developing their emotions during the infancy stage, which lasts approximately from birth to the age of 2 years. During this stage, a great deal of initial learning occurs for the child about their general environment and the people that are in it. Of course, environment affects our lives right from childhood. I think I can attest to that so much. Much of this learning occurs through interactions with parents and observations of parental relations, who are the first and most prominent figures in a child's early life. Happiness, distress, and disgust are amongst the initial emotions to appear in children just a few months after birth. Later on, social emotions appear, followed by the emotion of fear between the ages of 2 and 4 years. Generally, emotions start to differ as a child begins to mature. So far, it is known that parents significantly influence the emotional development of their children. Parents do far more than meet the basic survival needs of their child, and research is increasingly finding that they have an enormous influence on a wide variety of health outcomes for their children, including behavioral habits, physical and mental health outcomes, and emotional development. In the past couple of decades, incredible efforts and research has gone into understanding how interparental conflict might affect a child's ability to grow, develop, and function in a healthy way. Interparental conflict. Please, I need a pen. That's a very, very huge one. In this regard, it is important to fill the gap in knowledge. It's important to fill the gap in knowledge regarding what kinds of parental behaviors influence the emotional development of their children, and in what ways. How does parental knowledge, the knowledge we have here, how does parental behavior influence the emotional development of children? Your behavior as a parent, how does it affect the development of your child? Parental behaviors influence on the emotional development of their children. And in what ways? We need to look at that. It is important to explore how positive and negative parental behaviors influence the emotional development of their children. Interparental and parent-child conflicts are found to negatively impact children across all ages in terms of emotional, social, academic, and health problems, and children's risk becomes particularly high when parents are involved in a highly distressed marriage. So if your marriage is distressed, it will definitely affect your kids seriously. Children who experience significant conflict within their family will often have trouble with their social and emotional development and well-being. This is true for children who regularly hear their parents fighting, a phenomenon that has been referred to as background noise in a child's upbringing. I said something about that in my earlier introduction. Emotional development in children is something that is to a great extent learned as children over time learn to regulate their emotions. Most of this learning occurs directly from observing and interacting with parents, who are the first and most prominent people in a child's early life. According to Moses and Weber, children see how their parents display emotions and interact with other people, and they imitate what they see their parents do to regulate emotions, unquote. While a child's temperament can affect the ability to regulate their emotions, it is significantly guided by the parental styles that they receive and the interactions they observe. In fact, children who are more prone to negative emotions can be particularly vulnerable to episodes of anger or hostile and neglectful parenting and interactions, making the importance of emotional and behavioral regulation even more pronounced in such cases. I have a series of questions here. Of course, in the course of my introduction, of course, we have highlighted some questions or some issues that we will discuss this morning. But let me start by asking, is it lady first before men?
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
When it's convenient.
When it's convenient. But this time it's convenient. It's always convenient now. Why are you trying to bully me? I'll turn the table now. What is mental health, madam?
Okay, so mental health basically is a person being aware of his abilities. And because he is aware of his abilities or her abilities, he's able to cope with the stress that comes with life. Because, of course, there are some parts of life, some aspects of life that we can't do anything about it, and stress is one part of life. The fact that you live, you are alive, you wake up, you go out, is stressful. So that's a part of life that we cannot do anything about. So the individual's ability to cope with stress, that's life stress, and be able to still go ahead and live a meaningful life, contribute, to the community, understanding his or her weaknesses and abilities is mental health. You are in that space. Now, so when you talk about that, it helps you to understand it when you now talk about the disorders. That is the condition that affects your thinking, your feeling, your behavior, and how you relate. So if we talk about mental health, we're saying that you are in a state of mind where, irrespective of the things that happen in your immediate environment, irrespective of the things that happen to you, you are able to still live a good and meaningful life. Behave well, you are well adjusted, as we like to say, irrespective of all that happens. So that's what we look at as mental health.
That's all we look at as mental health.
Yes.
We're talking about mental health, especially in our children's mental health and emotional wellness. Do you think this is very important at any stage in life?
Well, this is a very, very important area, not just for children, not just for parents, but also for the future of every community, because we know that children are the leaders of tomorrow. So when we don't take care of the mental health, the emotional well-being of children and young people, what happens is that we will be producing groups of, a population of children who will grow up to become leaders and who would have significant impairments and deficiencies that will not allow them to carry out, the tasks of leadership, and they themselves won't be fulfilled with themselves, with their own development. So it is very, very important to discuss, the mental health of children, the emotional well-being of children. This is a very important topic.
Emotional well-being of children is a very important topic. At what point do you think, let's come to our homes now. At what point do you think that child, that infant, will start absorbing or taking something away from his or her environment, starting with his parents?
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I just wanted to add to what it said, that I'm sure he knows that half of all mental health concerns or mental disorders are established from the age of 14. That's what, research and science tells us. And that's just to say that it is very important that we look at the mental health of our children, because most of the times we assume that, children don't have mental health issues, and then we ignore all of those things. So we believe a child does not have a right to be angry. A child cannot be depressed, or a child cannot be sad. So I just wanted to say that. Now, to what age? Now, the way children are, once you give birth to a child and the child breathes his first breath and the child looks at the mother, in fact, even before the child is able to see clearly, the child begins to learn how to live, how to relate from the mother. I'll cite an example.
Please do.
So now, of course, from the womb, we've seen that children suck even while they're in the uterus, But then
they
when they suck their fingers, yes. Sometimes some of them even suck their toes. I remember that when I had my second child and I had this, is it 5D scan that, I actually saw my baby at that time, sucking the toe. So they know they have that reflex that is developed as they grow. Now, but once the child comes to life, the child gets to learn to suck the breast or the nipple of the mother. So the mother does what? Puts the child to breast. And of course, the baby now begins to suck. Now, so that tells you that from the day that child comes in contact with the mother or any human being, that child begins to pick things from them, begins to learn. So the baby then learns that, what you should suck is not your finger or your toe, is the breast, is the nipple, and it's not the head of the breast. It is actually, the nipple that the baby would actually latch on to suck. So that tells you that once you have a baby, from that tender age, the baby begins to pick from what is around him or what is around her. Now that baby grows from that point to learn that when I'm hungry, I suck. When I'm sad, I suck. It's learning that when you have a need, there's somebody that meets that need. And then the baby then learns to call mommy. How does the baby learn to call mommy? He hears people call mommy this, mommy that, or daddy says mommy, and then the baby learns to say mommy. The baby learns to call himself or herself by the name. Why? The baby hears him. So once the baby is alive and the baby does not have any cognitive impairment, immediately social learning begins for the child. What the child sees, the child learns from what the child sees. What the child experiences, the child learns from it. And so where does the child experience all of those things? It's, at home or with those people that are the caregivers or the parents. So as soon as you have a child born into your hands, the child starts learning from you, from the environment.
Okay, we go for this short break. When we come back, we'll push it forward.
Customer, see your tomatoes. May I add pepper join?
Yes, I beg. Add. Auntie, this your cough self don't pass the careful.
Take it easy with that now. But customer, this your cough, Make you try enter hospital now.
No, you self no say no be correct time be this. They go just talk say I get COVID-19.
Customer, all cough no be the same. This one fit be tuberculosis now.
Auntie, now true talk.
02255 to get better information of where you fit do the test. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Health with support from American people then.
Big protein breakfast, àṣírí ibẹ̀ nìyẹn. Bí ìyá mi máa ṣe ń jí láfẹ̀mọ́jú, wọ́n á ṣe oúnjẹ fún wa kí wọ́n tó sáré lọ sí ibi iṣẹ́. Lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà, bàbá wa máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ dalẹ́. Wọ́n sì tún jí lówùúrọ̀ láti gbé mi lọ sí ilé ẹ̀kọ́. Kò wá sí bó ṣe lè di gádígádí tó. Kì í rìn wọ́n láti máa bá mi ṣeré. Ìdí ìrètí wọn kì í kúrò nílé láì jẹ big protein breakfast.
Bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọjọ́ rẹ pẹ̀lú oúnjẹ òwúrọ̀ tó kún fún big protein. Amárata kébé.
Pig, rich for your pig.
Òkú ọmọ kì í ṣe tèmi àtòkú aya o.
Ẹni àfàdúrà gbáre o, ó tó yẹ ká lọ kọ́
sọ gbogbo ń tà fẹ́ nínú pàdé àdúrà lágbà yìí kú ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta 72 hours with God. Bàbá ìsọjí orí afẹ́fẹ́ Prọfẹ̀t Táíwò Òjó ti CAC májẹ̀mú àánú ni Ọlọ́run máa ṣe àpàdé àdúrà ìfúnlóṣù mẹ́ta. Àkórí ìtìjú yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti Friday 11, Saturday 12 àti Sunday 13. Nígbà tí mo wò ó fín, when I look at it more closely, gbogbo ẹrù ogun tí iṣẹ́ tiẹ̀, ó tó àkókò fún ọ láti wá jálẹ̀ nú àdúrà. Ìkórìtà ìpínyà pẹ̀lú ìwà tógun ní 72 hours títí ọ̀tà yìí. Ọ̀pọ̀ ìrìnsí Ọlọ́run àti àwọn olórí ẹ̀mí bíi Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí, Dáre Mélòdì, Ìlàjà Kétúndé Ọlọ́run sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kẹ́ni ológun àrà, Bridget Adénúbi Esther, ni wọ́n máa pẹ̀lú bàbá ìsọjí orí afẹ́fẹ́ Prọfẹ̀t Táíwò Òjó ṣiṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ṣẹ́. Mexican tó wà ní kìlómítà 18, Ifẹ̀ Ìbàdàn expressway ló ṣe gẹ́rẹ́ láti máa pàdé. Ọkọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ máa wà ní ìwòròdà tó Olúbàdàn estate. Aago mẹ́sàn-án òwúrọ̀ táwọn bá ti wọnú pàdé àdúrà lọ́jọ́ Friday. Ọjọ́ Monday la máa ṣe orí ọ̀fẹ́. Ẹrù ogun tí kì í ṣe tiẹ̀. Mexican ní kò wá lọ já sí nínú àdúrà.
On June 12, 2021, Port Harcourt City will host the maiden edition of the Forum, where a convocation of renowned and seasoned speakers come together to discuss critical and burning topical issues bothering the nation. The theme for this year is What Do Nigerians Want? And will feature the following keynote speakers: Ibukwa Woshika, Henry Odeya Dumugubia, SAN, Mazi Samuel, Ihaichuku Ohanwa OFR, George Ekumi, Ona Ekomo, and DK Chukwumirije. Date, June 12, 2021. Time 11 a.m. Venue Aztec Acom Event Center, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, River State. For registration and inquiries, visit www.theforumnigeria.com. The forum is organized by the Men's League of Christ Church, Port Harcourt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Sheyi Makinde, Executive Governor of Oyo State. Chief guest of honor and host governor, His Excellency Chief Barrister Ezenwoye Semwike, CON, GSSRS, POS Africa, Executive Governor of River State. The Forum for a better Nigeria.
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is the jollof ready?
See? Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
Hey! Omo, make you no sleep on top bicycle. This better don't tie rapper. For those of you who never using an MTN SIM for over 15 days now, MTN don't charge. Come increase your welcome back of our woof to 12 times your recharge when you load 100 naira and above. Yes, so no be one, no be two, no be three, no be four, no be even 10 sef. Now 12 times your recharge, then go take credit and data knock your phone. This one means say if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summon you with 900 naira credit plus 300 naira data bonus. If you can't recharge 200 naira, now 1,800 naira credit go drop for your phone plus 600 naira data bonus. Just make sure so you use *161* recharge pin hash take recharge and enjoy your bonus for up to 30 days. Omo, this one don't pass welcome back. MTN can add Shaw Banker second term on top sef. Hey, where that my MTN SIM? Make me sef begin follow enjoy better too.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
What is this? I thought I asked all of you to drop whatever you have outside there.
I'm sorry, sir. This is Fluco Day. I saw you coughing earlier, so I brought it out for you so you can take it.
Thanks for your kindness, but I'm smarter than that. You think I don't know that every drug that cures cough and catarrh causes drowsiness? So you want me to sleep, Abi?
This is what distinguishes Fluco Day. It does not cause drowsiness.
Nah, drug. I know this drug. It work well. Let me try it. Manufactured by Harvit.
Marketed and distributed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
Time up. And you, I said what? Flu.
Fluco Day! Available in pharmacy shops near you.
láti ní ojúlówó mọ̀ tó nílò tó fi darapọ̀ mọ́ṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tó sì dakọ́ṣẹ́ mọṣẹ́ tí mùṣemúṣe ẹ̀dá múṣẹ́ yàtọ̀. Splash FM Media Academy ti pèsè ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó gàgàǹgbà fún gbogbo ẹni tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ láti dojúlówó agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tàbí ẹni tó fẹ́ fìmọ̀ kúmọ̀ nídìí iṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tẹ́sí gbàwé ẹ̀rí mú yege. Àwọn ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ Splash FM Media Academy dá lórí Introduction to Presentation, Program and Content Development, Journalism, Basic Production, Digital Media, Yorùbá Presentation, tó ń ti ìtọ́sọ́nà lórí ìṣẹ́yọni pẹ̀lú àwọn gbajúgbajà agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́. Fún ìforúkọsílẹ̀ àti ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ lọ sí Splash FM Media Academy tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ White House Fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn tàbí kẹ́ ẹ kàn sójú òpó ìtàkùn àgbáyé wa pẹ̀lú www.splashfm1055.com/academy 0705-439-3332 tàbí 0805-699-8676. ẹ sì lè kàn sórí Facebook, Twitter àti Instagram wa @Splash FM Media Academy. Mú àlá rẹ ṣẹ láti dojúlówó agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ lónìí. Splash FM Media Academy. À ń fọmọlúwàbí ṣe iṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ lọ́jọ́.
When you wan buy correct wakis, you go say,
abeg, give me amala 4 wrap, gbegiri, ewedu, fufu, shaki, bokoto, abodi.
But when you wan buy malaria medicine, you go say,
no be malaria.
Buy malaria drugs the same way you dey buy your food. Make una dey always ask for Coartem, wey also dey for cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children too. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult your doctor.
YS Live.
YS Live.
Yes, off the mic, the doctor was talking about the connects between the mother and the child when he or she sucks breast.
Yes, I was trying to state that even during pregnancy, you see, the decisions a mother makes significantly affects the baby in utero. So when a mother goes for antenatal, when a mother eats properly, eats well, nutritious food, all of that significantly affects, the child's mental health when it's going to be born. And not only that, mothers who were depressed during pregnancy tend to have babies who come out, less active and less able to face the challenges of labor. So all these things have direct, impact. Okay. Then after pregnancy, we'll talk about the time of delivery. Okay. You see, mothers who decide to go to untrained professionals, who go to traditional birth attendants, who don't go to, hospitals where there are trained individuals, they tend to risk having a baby that would have some baseline brain damage, which can then, on the long term, predispose them to either any of the neurodevelopmental disorders or the neuropsychiatric conditions that could occur in adolescence. But another thing that was mentioned earlier was about, the contact that exists between the baby and the mother immediately after birth. You see, when the mother puts the baby to the breast to suck, that is the beginning of the establishment of attachment. And attachment is very, very vital. And this continues in different ways up until the child is about 3 years old. So a child that has a secure attachment ends up growing to be someone who would have, moral figures, moral teters. They are able to respond to calls to change their ways because they don't want to offend their parents. They don't want to harm somebody else. They don't want to impair, their own abilities to move forward. So secure attachment that starts right from when a child is put to breast is very, very vital. Children who grow up or who, when they were born, were taken away from their parents to multiple different relatives, from this auntie to that auntie, they tend to develop what we call oppositional defiant disorder.
What's that?
And oppositional defiant disorder is when a child becomes unduly, not responsive to authority. Not responsive to rules, not responsive to organization. So they always want to go against every laid down rule. They want to argue with adults. They want to disobey the rules. A worse form of that is what we call the conduct disorder, which occurs when there are violations of other people's rights. So essentially, a problem of attachment can result in significant impairments when children grow up in life.
Now, what are the indicators of poor mental health in children?
Okay, this is another area that can be very.
We have a 1 minute on the hour advert. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Sorry.
Splash FM 105.5.
Mamas, una good morning, no. Help them to they smile every day for school. Make them they brush with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection because Colgate locks calcium in.
Splash FM 105.5.
Yes, let me have you.
Okay, so because children present differently. So it can be very, very difficult to just run off a list and say, this is how this child will respond. But having said that, there are a few pointers that can, give you an baseline, and then you can now probe for that to be able to identify what exactly is wrong with the child. So let me just run off a couple of them. When you have a child that is sad for more than 2 weeks, for up to 2 weeks, you have a child that is regularly unhappy, and that state of unhappiness can actually last for that long. That might be a sign that that child has some mental health concerns or mental health disorders. When you have a child that has issue with concentration deficit or hyperactivity, that can also be a sign that, something is quite wrong or not balanced with your child, and you want to begin to look at it. Of course, you now have the mood disorders. Under the mood disorders, you can then have anxiety. When the anxiety is almost tangible. There are some children that you see that they literally go white. You can almost touch the anxiety that they have. Just as simple as maybe somebody comes in or you startle them. When you startle them, their response, their comeback response is so slow that, you're wondering that, was it more than just that? Even when they know that, okay, the person that startled me, is my mom, but they are completely destabilized by that startling, So you want to begin to look at that. You could also have eating disorders. Yes, when you have a child that is so concerned about probably weight loss, it can be extreme when you have the anorexia and the rest of that. So eating disorder can also be a sign. Now you have outbursts. You have excessive outbursts of anger. That can also be a sign that something along the line is not quite right with this particular child. Of course, we have post-traumatic stress disorder when, of course, there has been trauma and then you have that child. Now, children that withdraw, especially, so I think going forward, it will help parents to identify it when you know your child. So once there is a deviation from a pattern of a child, then you might want to begin to look inward, or you might want to be a bit more concerned. What do I mean by that? So a child that likes to probably wakes up in the morning and wants to go to school, and then you realize that after a while there's a drag with waking up in the morning or getting up to go to school. Something has altered that routine, because children follow routine actually. Once you establish it, of course they just it's almost like natural for them to glide into all of that. And then it's when they become adolescent that they begin to query, okay, why do I have to wake up in the morning and brush my teeth and bath? And, but as children, they just almost basically just follow it. They can ask you questions about it. So once you see there's a deviation in that routine or the pattern, and you cannot explain it, it's not like, okay, maybe there was a change that necessitated that deviation. You might want to begin to check your child. So I've talked about depression. I don't know if I mentioned that. Anxiety, depression is another. Now, for African parents, a lot of times we find it very difficult to understand that children can be depressed. Just as we find it difficult to believe that children can be angry, and those are signs that if you have a child that has anger issues, excessive anger, anger outbursts, that's also a sign that this child has some mental health concerns. Or before you now get to the advanced, that the schizophrenia and the rest of that, So basically, there are a lot of things that can show you that your child might be having some mental health concerns, which you have to be open to as a parent. To be able to, or a caregiver. Now, if there is a drop in the performance of the child in school, that's also a sign that something has gone wrong somewhere. So you just have to be observant to be able to pick some of those things. Sometimes it might just be change in the environment, maybe a change of a class. Remember that when we talked about mental health, we talked about being able to cope with stress, life stress. So you must be able to balance it. Sometimes a child goes to a new class, or maybe there's a new teacher. That child might initially have issues balancing. The child might momentarily maybe not want to go to school, but it will resolve itself in days. So when you now have it go beyond days to week 1, week 2, once it crosses the second week line, then you want to begin to look at taking that child for diagnosis or to actually speak with a mental health professional.
Thank you very much. Our situation in Nigeria is not, should I say, not a palatable one generally. Talking about security, economy, and everything. Parents are not really paying much attention nowadays to our kids. Don't you think that will also affect these children growing, and of course the future of our country?
Well, neglect is a, should I say, precursor, as it were, to emotional wellness, as it were. Now, when you have children that suffer one form of abuse or the other, when parents don't give attention as much as they should, or when parents are overly critical of the child, or when parents are inflict injury on the child, in supposedly form of discipline, when you have all of those things happen, it affects the child. Now, when children grow up in environments where there is no love, where the children do not feel loved, I tell parents that it's one thing for you to love your child, but your child has to understand that you love him. So love your child in your language and love your child in your child's language. Don't just assume that.
What's the difference?
Okay, so when you love your child, for some parents, some fathers or mothers, they just believe that, okay, so if I provide for you, that, shows you that I love you. If I pay your school fees, I love you, and so I don't have to tell you that I love you. I don't have to rub your head. I don't have to hug you when you come home. I don't have to sit down with you and play. The fact that I put food on your table, I buy clothes for you, is enough. That tells you I send you to school. That tells you I love you. Now, but for the child, you are doing those things because you are supposed to do them. So even though you do those things, if there are no moments where you sit and play with them, there are no moments where you hug them, there are no moments where they just place their heads on your shoulder without, anything. There are no, no moments where it's just about them. And, you show them. That's the language of love that children understand. Contact, he mentioned about that attachment. Now, because of the, that latching on, the I can't remember what we call it now, there are hormones, yes, that pass between the mother through the breast milk that builds the bond. Now, of course, children like to be cuddled, and of course, children usually are carried. So all of those things are still with them as children. So they like you to hug them, they like you to hold them, they like you to play with them and be in their space. When you're not doing those things to them, that's the language that the child understands at that time. That's their language of love. So if you are not, speaking that language of love, before it comes to you, you've pushed him away. Yorubas, we can have all of those things. What you're saying to the child is, you don't like me enough. You don't want me to be with you. And that's why it's important for you to love them in your language. Of course, you discipline, you provide for them. Also love them. Play is very important to children. I need to emphasize this. Play is important for their growth, for their development. It's also as important as them actually going to school. That's why you see that there is structured time for play, where you have break time. So when parents do not play with their children would interpret it as not being wanted or not being loved. So play is another thing that, both fathers and mothers have to get to understand, that it's very important for your children to have moments of play. Our children interpret it as loving them. So that's what I mean by love them in your language, provide for them, protect them, but also love them in their own language. Be in their space. Play with them. Eat with them. That's another thing that another language children. Your child might have eaten, but just, and then you're eating something and it wants to just munch with you. Of course, there are lines you do, the border lines to be sure that, it's not Ojukokoro, it's not conventional sins. But, basically, it's just that love that, they just want, that's their language. So love them in your language, love them in their language too.
Thank you very much. Doctor, you were talking about environment, how it influences this child.
Yes. Well, you see, the environment is very vital, particularly because children grow a lot through modeling. Modeling is when events happen around you, people do things around you, and then you learn by imbibing those things. Now, one thing that is very important about the environments in which children grow in is that it actually influences their ability to set goals and bear with the consequences of following those goals through their or following the steps that they need to follow to get to the goal. So, for example, if you have a child growing up in an environment where they have siblings or neighbors who went to school, who went through the process of going to school, coming back, and then achieving their first certificates, doing JAMB, entering into the university, getting a job, they see the goals they want to achieve, and they also see along the line the paths that they need to follow, and they know it is a path that will take time. So indirectly, subconsciously, they imbibe the ability to be patient, to have lofty goals, and to be patient to follow the lines to get to that goal. However, if a child grows up in a society or in an environment where they only see rich people around, they see people driving big cars, but they don't know how they got there. They don't see them through the process of, struggling, the step-by-step process of learning, of, sacrificing. They will have those big goals and they will look for alternative ways of getting there. So we have young people nowadays who are thinking of becoming the next Bill Gates, but they don't know that there are steps that you need to take, sacrifices you need to make, patience that you need to exercise before you are able to get there. That is because of the influence of modeling. So the environment is very, very important. And to add a little to what she has said earlier about parents, you see, parents are the primary modeling factor in the life of every child. So what the child sees the parents doing and what the child sees the parents not doing is part of what they imbibe in themselves. So if, for example, a child lives in an environment where the father does not stay at home, the mother is not available, that child will grow up to be eventually a kind of parent who will also not be available for his or her own children as well. The mere fact that the parents are not there, there's another problem that could come up. The child could be exposed to, traumatic experiences, maybe from home, from neighbors, from cousins, and they won't be able to discuss with those parents who are not available, who come home only at night, and they go very early in the morning. And if, for example, they are being abused by maybe the cousin, or the caregiver, or the nanny, really they won't have anybody to report to because they know that they are stuck with this person and the parents are not available. So the parents, in terms of their being available, and like she said, emotionally available, to let the children know that, yes, we love you, is very, very vital. Like she said, you love a child the way you want to love them, but also importantly, the way the child will appreciate. And that comes to the line of discipline. You see, loving a child does not mean you should not discipline them. A lot of parents think that, the only way I can show love to my child is not to discipline them, not to set limits. There are instances wherein you have to issue penalties. There are instances wherein you have to issue punishments. There are instances wherein you could just use word of mouth. But that only comes up when the parents are there. They are available. They understand what is going on with the child. They know what the child is experiencing. and then they can administer the appropriate treatment. So, yes, like you said, it's very, very important for the parents to be there, to love the children the way they should be loved, provide for them, but also set limits and ensure that there are discipline.
We go for this short break. When we come back, ask you about there.
It's game night at the Bensons and everyone's having fun. Then, this.
Hey, son, what's the matter? You too? No way.
Don't let coughs and the common cold ruin your fun time. Tuxil range of uniquely formulated day and night syrups provides effective relief from cough and cold. Product may cause drowsiness. Tuxil, the job gets done when the cough is gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
Àti kékeré lọmọ mi ti ní ìran láti di ìlú mọ̀ká. Ojúṣe mi sì ni láti ràn lọ́wọ́ kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Ìdí nìyí tí ó di àjẹsára rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ dúró digbí kó lè gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ títí tẹ́sẹ̀ rẹ̀ yóò fi múlẹ̀.
Ìràwọ̀ òṣèré wa tó kàn ní oníjó ballerino.
Mo ń fún ọmọ mi ní Vita lójoojúmọ́ tó ní iron, zinc àti vitamin C tó sì ń ran odi àjẹsára rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ tó tún fún un ní okun láti mú kí ìran rẹ̀ wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Bone Vita, okun láti ní ìran.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate. There are 3 people whose calls I won't miss for the world. My mom.
How are my grandbabies?
My wife.
Babe, I have gifts.
And finally, Dele, my guy, who works at ARM. I can't afford to miss his calls. You see, Dele is always on my matter, informing me about investment opportunities before everyone else so I can always be ready. He always has a new strategy to grow my money. The way he carries the matter on his head, you would think it's more than just his day job. But that's why Dele is my person, because he's invested in my tomorrow.
At ARM, we want to help you achieve your goals, because when you succeed, we succeed. Visit www.arm.com.ng. ARM, invested in your tomorrow.
Gbogbo ènìyàn ẹ kí kábíyèsí tó wọlé dé.
Kábíyèsí o.
Ó dé, ó ta gbogbo wọn yọ, ó rọ́ wọn tòkè tilẹ̀, ó balẹ̀ bí ọ̀wàrà òjò. Àmbà! Ohun mímu afúnilágbára tí ń jẹ́ kára ẹni ó jí pépé tó bá dàbí ẹni pàgbára ń lọlẹ̀ tí ò fẹ́ ságbára mọ́. Gbàgòlò àmbà kan kó o gbé lura. Àmbà energy drink la fi èso guarana pèlò. Ó sì kún fún oríṣiríṣi èròjà aṣaralóore àti fítámì. Tọkùnrin tóbìnrin ló lè mú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò lọ́tí nínú rárá. Ó wà káàkiri ilé ìtajà tó súnmọ́. Béèrè fún kan tiẹ̀ lónìí. Kò jẹ gbádùn tó ṣàrà ọ̀tọ̀. Amber Drink Limited tó wà ní ọgbà Coco Industries 1 Coco Road off Akilo Road ọgbà Ìkẹjà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ló ń pin tó ń tà. Ìwọ náà lè bá wọn dòwò pọ̀ lónìí láti jẹ́ alágbàtà tàbí aláràtúntà. Nọ́mbà yìí ni kó o pè sí 070-2606-4458. Amber Energy Drinks, ṣàfikún agbára inú rẹ.
If you had the clearest camera designed for the best selfies on a smartphone, where would you take your first picture?
Probably at the beach with the backdrop of the midnight skies.
At the cinema. It's dark and all, but for the best selfie, darkness shouldn't be a thing, right?
Or maybe I'll take it in front of my favorite suya spot. Some soft light and legendary suya in the background.
Wherever you choose, stand out with the new Techno Camon 70 smartphone. With its 48MP selfie lens for the clearest selfie, 64MP ultra-night camera for stunning pictures in low light, and the MediaTek Helio G95 processor for quality gaming and streaming performance. Techno Camon 17. It's time to stand out.
Don't worry, Ma. He'll be home on time, just like his dad.
Are you sure?
Yes, Ma. I'm cooking their favorite jollof with Sonia tomato mix. They are here.
Hey, is that jollof ready?
See? Right on time.
Your loved ones will always rush home for tasty meals prepared with Sonia tomato mix.
Mommy, the jollof is yummy.
I wouldn't miss this jollof for anything.
It's so good eating together with a family.
Yes, Ma. All thanks to Sonia.
Sonia tomato mix brings you together. Proudly Nigerian.
It's a win, yo. Okay, I want to pay our papa. We dey collect a 2 man gapa. I want to be fresh, that's like my tarapa. Too much money, or shakade gada. Owo, kudi, ego. I don't play, I don't win, no, ewo. I don't withdraw sharp, no delay, oh. Fractal level, no be play, oh. Bonus yakpa, confirm. Instant payment, confirm. Cash out soon come, confirm. Virtual games, confirm. Frapapa. It's a win, you frapapa. Frapapa. It's a win, you frapapa. Frapapa. It's a win, you frapapa. It's a win, you. Visit www.frapapa.com for the best in sports betting and online gaming. Frapapa. It's a win.
YS Live.
ẹ káàbọ̀ padà aṣọ yorùbá díẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ wa tí à ń tọ́ ọlọ́run kó bá a tọ́ wọn kán sì yàn kán yanjú ibi tí wọ́n ń gbé àwa gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí ohun tá à ń ṣe wà tá à ń wù láti ṣípín kódà wọ́n ní láti inú oyún ni communication ti ń wà láàrin ọmọ tó wà nínú oyún àti ìyá tó ń gbé débi tó ọmọ ó ti jáde tí ìyá ó máa fún lọ́mú wọ́n ti ṣàlàyé lédè òyìnbó ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan táwọn ọmọ yìí rí láyìíká wọn wọ́n ń ṣe kí ni wọ́n fi ń kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọ́n sì fi ń ṣòdiwọ̀n ayé wọn díẹ̀díẹ̀ ó ń store ó ń register ó ń save sínú subconscious mind wọn pé bọ́n ṣe ń gbé ìgbésí ayé rẹ̀ ọmọ tó gbé ibi tí jàgídíjàgan Desmond Tutu tó jẹ́ pé òun ló gbòde ń bẹ̀ nígbà tí ó jí lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì bí àyà sílífà àti bàbá Sakiru wọ́n ń lura wọn ni ó gbọ́ ti bàbá Múyìbá àti bàbá Adémọ́lá àwọn náà ń jà ní bàbá Yẹmí àti ìyá Yẹmí bí wọ́n fúnra wọn ní fọ́jú lọ́wọ́ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ọmọ yẹn á máa wò pé ìgbésí ayé tó yẹ káwọn máa gbé náà rèé ní tó ń jí bá lójoojúmọ́ tó ń sùn pẹ̀lú nìyẹn àwọn òbí ẹ̀ ó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ bóyá wọ́n lédè àìyedè kóńdó ni bàbá máa là mọ́ ìyá lórí ìyá náà ó lọ mú ọ̀bẹ pé màá gún ẹ pa ní ọmọdé yìí ń rí gbogbo ẹ̀ o wọ́n máa wá léra wọn kiri gbogbo àárín ilé wọ́n máa léra wọn kiri wọ́n tira wọn mọ́ta ò ní wọlé léni ò ní ṣe léni àwọn yẹn á máa sunkún láti kékeré ọmọ mi á máa ké pé akílódé tí dádì òun nà màmá òun báyìí ọmọ mi á sọpọ́ọ̀tì bàbá ọmọ mi á sọpọ́ọ̀tì ìyá ẹ̀ àárín jàgídíjàgan làwọn ọmọ yẹn gbé dàgbà irú ọmọ wo ni wọ́n ó yà àbí irú ọmọ tí ó gbé ilé tí ìfẹ́ jọba èmi ò sọ̀rọ̀ flat àbí face my last slap you inú yàrá inú ilé tí wọ́n ti ń tọ́ àwọn ọmọ yìí irú ìfẹ́ wo ni wọ́n fi hàn sí wọn ǹjẹ́ tí ẹ ní àsìkò láti bá àwọn ọmọ yìí gbé láti bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ láti gbọ́ tiwọn láti fìfẹ́ hàn sí wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ ní ìlànà tí àti báwọn ṣe rí sí báwọn ṣe fẹ́ sí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan báyìí làwọn ọmọdé máa ń dìmú tó sì máa ń jẹ́ pé ó máa ń mood life wọn tí wọ́n fi ṣòdiwọ̀n ayé wọn tí wọ́n dà lọ́la ibi tó ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ rèé àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ lẹ́ ṣe sọ ni ibi tí wọ́n dà lọ́la àti inú ilé ló ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìyá àti bàbá tí wọ́n ń fìfẹ́ hàn síra wọn kódà táwọn ọmọ òmùgbà tán lédè àìyedè gan irú ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n lè mọ̀ bọ̀kán rí i pé wọ́n fìfẹ́ bára wọn lò nípa èdè àìyedè yẹn irú ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sí tí bàbá àti ìyá ń lura wọn ní gbóngbó onígbóngbó dọ̀kóńdó oníkùmọ̀ yọkùmọ̀ wọ́n fọ mọ́ra wọn lórí bàbá mi àlù ìyá mi báyìí hospital ni ó lọ èmi tí róbìnrin tó sọ pé òun fẹ́ràn kọ́kọ́ òun máa lu òun káwọn tiẹ̀ tó ṣe àjọṣe ọkọ láya òun láìkí kọ́kọ́ òun fọ́ òun létí òun láì káwọn ṣe jàgídíjàgan àbẹ́yìn ò gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ rí.
mímí náà ti gbọ́ ìyẹn náà túmọ̀ sí pé ẹ rí i pé tẹ bá máa wádìí dáadáa nǹkan kan ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọmọbìnrin yẹn nígbà tó jẹ́ ọmọ kékeré àwọn ohun tẹ́ ẹ pè yìí àwọn ohun tó ti rí ìtumọ̀ ẹ̀ wá ni wípé ó ti dàgbà pẹ̀lú ó ti ní a change perception bó ṣe ń rí ìrísí ẹ̀ n tó fi ń rí mírọ̀ tó fi ń wo àgbáyé ó ti yàtọ̀ òun náà ti rí i pé bí ọkùnrin ṣe lè fi ìfẹ́ hàn ni tí ìfọ̀tíyìn ò bá tí kò jiná dáadáa ara ẹ̀ ò ní dìde ìyẹn sọ fún yín pé nǹkan kan ti dàrú ní kékeré ẹ̀yẹn náà ó ti dàrú láti kékeré tó bá jẹ́ fọ̀tí ló mọ̀ káàárọ̀ kásán kálẹ̀ ìfọ́tí náà ni tó ń rí nìyẹn tó bá dàgbà náà in tó máa mọ̀ sí bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe nìyẹn so kò nọ́mà kò ń ṣe in tó wọ́pọ̀ ẹ máa rí pé kò wọ́pọ̀ torí pé ó ti dàrú láti kékeré yẹn náà ni kékeré tó ti dàrú yẹn òun náà ni òun ló bá irú obìnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn tó bá irú obìnrin bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ síta wọ́n sì lè rí ìrànlọ́wọ́.
ọ̀tọ̀ ní ibi tí à ń gbé àtàwọn òbí àti ohun tí à ń rí láyìíká wa ẹ wá wáyé social media ń sìn ẹ wo ohun tí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ń kọ́ nínú social media ń sìn yìí o ọ̀tọ̀ ní ti tẹlifíṣàn o ti social media sìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ sáìtì wà téèyàn ò mọ̀ tí mi ì gbọ́ rí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ní kóòdù o iléèwé ni wọ́n ti ń fúnra wọn kóòdù ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn sáìtì kan wà tẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ yìí ń lọ bẹ̀ wọ́n mọ̀ ju tẹ́ ẹ rò pọ̀ mọ̀ lọ kí lè sọ sí yẹn.
ṣe rí
ìyá kọ́ ló kọ́ wọn bàbá kọ́ ló kọ́ wọn environment social media ni o ó ti yàtọ̀ sí báwa ṣe ń bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ìgbésí ayé tiwa nígbà tá a wà ní kékeré ó yàtọ̀ sí táwọn ọmọ yìí explosion ti ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí o.
ṣe rí nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láyé ìsìn tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn òbí tí wọ́n kọbi ara sí tó dẹ̀ ń kó bá ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ni wípé ṣe rí gbogbo ibi tí wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ gbé íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì wá tí wọ́n ti gbé social media wá àwọn ní nǹkan tó ń pè ní parental control ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí pé kí ni tẹ́ bá fún ọmọ ní fóònù tó ní íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ó láwọn wẹ́bsáìtì tó lè lọ ó láwọn wẹ́bsáìtì tí ò lè lọ tó yẹ kí ni wọ́n ti block ẹ̀ ó láwọn nǹkan tó yẹ kí ni ó lè wò lórí YouTube ó láwọn nǹkan tó yẹ kí ni kò lè wò lórí YouTube ṣe rí téèyàn bá kàn gbé fóònù Android phone tó bá gbé fún ọmọ 10, 11, 12 kódà ẹni tí ò bá tí ì wọ 17 years tó bá gbé fóònù fún lásán pẹ̀lú internet ó dàbí kíyàn kàn mọ́ ọmọ kó mu lọ sáàrin ọjà Bódìjà kó wá filẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ pé in tó bójú ẹ bá rí kó mọ wò in tó bá ń gbọ́ kó mọ gbọ́ in táwọn anybody lè bọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe dà kíyàn má lè ṣe kí ni o kíyàn má lè mọ́nítọ̀ nǹkan tí ọmọ ń ṣe torí wípé nísìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òbí ò mọ̀ ń pa social media wọn ò mọ bọ́tìn téèyàn ó tẹ̀ téèyàn ó fi control ilé wọn ò mọ béèyàn ó ṣe ṣí fóònù wọn ò mọ béèyàn ó ṣe tì í àwọn ọmọ gbọ́n ju ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn òbí lọ nípa social media yìí so wọ́n ń rí oríṣiríṣi àwọn nǹkan burúkú imagine kọ́ ọmọ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ni mo wo ìwòho àwọn tó ń ṣe pornography kó mọ wo orú nǹkan báyìí láti age 10, 11, 12 ẹ dákun kí ni ó dà tó bá dàgbà kọ́ ọmọ ti mọ wo oríṣiríṣi àwọn nǹkan tí ó wé kí ni àwa náà mọ̀ pé kí ni o kò bá àwùjọ wa mu tó bá ti ń gbogbo àwọn nǹkan báyìí yóò dàbí pé ó normal ni ẹ mọ̀ wọ́n máa ń pè nǹkan ní normalization in téèyàn bá ń rí gbogbo ìgbà téèyàn ń kà gbogbo ìgbà téèyàn ń gbọ́n gbogbo ìgbà yóò dàbí pé nǹkan tó normal ni so yóò rọrùn fún tàn láti kíni láti ṣe tó bá dìta tó bá dàgbà so nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ni pé kíni ọmọ tẹ́ bá fẹ́ fún ní fóònù pé kó ní access sí social media kó o gbọ́dọ̀ ní control ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ní time tẹ́ fún ok àti time báyìí sí time báyìí ni màá fún ẹ kó fi ṣe assignment yẹ kó fi bá àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ nítorí bá dẹ̀ sọ mo gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ ẹ kò gbọ́dọ̀ mọ sọ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ò yẹ o gbọ́dọ̀ kàn mọ wo YouTube o kàn gbọ́dọ̀ lọ sórí Facebook kódà mi ò tiẹ̀ mọ nǹkan táwọn èèyàn ní táwọn ọmọ kéékèèké ní fóònù fún before kó tó wọ university I just personally mi rí essence exposing kéèyàn bí ọmọ téèyàn bí kéèyàn wá expose ẹ̀ sí gbogbo because ẹ mọ nǹkan tí internet mean èèyàn expose ọmọ sí kí ni sí gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé ni anywhere anybody ló lè bá sọ̀rọ̀ so ẹ̀mẹ́ tó ń bọ́ ọmọ yín sọ̀rọ̀ ní kọ̀kọ̀.
ṣé ká má wàá fún wọn fóònù lẹ́ ń wí ni.
ṣe rí èèyàn máa ń dàgbà dé level kan tó yẹ kí ni èèyàn ò lè control ara ẹ̀ pé nǹkan báyìí mi wà interested mi fẹ́ wò nǹkan báyìí kò dáa wọn ní pé kò dáa kí n mọ̀ wò ọmọdé ò tí ì dé level yẹn kò tí ì ní self control.
bí ọmọ ọdún mélòó ni ká jẹ́ kó máa lo fóònù.
ṣe rí ẹ mọ̀ sọ pé èmi mo sọ báyìí recommendation tèmi from experience tèmi ní pé kí ni o ọmọ tí ò bá tí ì wọ university kò yẹ kó ní access social media.
wọ́n á pariwo léyìn lórí níta.
kò yẹ kó ní access social media.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ yẹn àwọn kan ṣe lẹ́ mò ń gbọ́ lọ́wọ́ báyìí mò ń gbọ́ táwọn ṣe kí ló ń bí.
ẹ máa gbọ́ ṣe rí ọmọ tí ó bá wọ university òbí kan kò lè sọ pé kí ló ń wò kí ló ń ṣe àbẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ni.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
bọ̀ ọmọ tó bá wá sí wà ní secondary school ẹ sọ pé àwa kí ló wà ní báàgì ẹ.
bẹ́ẹ̀ fún òun wò léèwé bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́mọ̀ pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ń lò léèwé.
so ibi tí school náà gbọ́dọ̀ ti kọ́ mi.
bẹ́ẹ̀ fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ń lò
tábàtì ẹ̀yọ ti àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ tó ń lò yàtọ̀ sí a tún wá fi wò pé àwọn ọmọ wa pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ àgbáyé míì ìyẹn náà ṣe pàtàkì fún wa. Ibi tèmi wá fẹ́ lọ níbi lórí ọ̀rọ̀ social media àti ìmọ̀ tó kọlù wa o.
Ìmọ̀ tó kọlù wa.
ìmọ̀ tó kọlù wa o.
Bàbá ti pa lówó tán ẹ wàá ṣàlàyé lára ohun tó kọlù wa yẹn.
As the best man, I'd like to give a toast. But first, I have a few things to say. The money they are spraying the couple is reducing. It seems some people have rubbed glue under their shoes to pack it.
Clearly, he's been watching Comedy Nights or maybe My Siblings and I on Africa Magic Urban, DSTV channel 153. Now, you too can get inspired by our local entertainment. Get a HD decoder, dish, plus 1 month DSTV compact subscription for only 18,600 Naira. Because great stories start on DSTV.
My name na Patito, I be first class truck driver.
Yes, it's Panadol Extra Caplets. Panadol Extra is now also available in a smaller pack of 4 caplets at only 50 Naira. Same Panadol Extra Caplets that relieves headache, backache, muscle ache, menstrual pain, and toothache. If it's not Panadol, it's not the same thing as Panadol. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult a doctor. Panadol Extra contains paracetamol and caffeine. Not recommended in pregnancy and children under 12.
You get money for account. You want take small thing inside. Just do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Oga, madam, where is your card? I don't forget them for house. If you do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Anytime you need the money, but your card is there for younger. Just go do cardless withdrawal with any Momo agent. Cardless withdrawal with Momo agent. With Momo agent, card withdraw with Momo agent. Any Momo agent.
Now you fit withdraw money even if you no hold your card for any Momo agent wey dey near you. Just dial *223# to take touchlight the Momo agent wey dey near your domot. Momo agent, safe, fast, no wahala.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ojúlówó Nasco cornflakes kún fún èròjà tí ń ṣara lóore tó dára nítorí wípé Old Flaked cornflakes náà ni. Old Flaked cornflakes ní apilẹ̀ṣe ní ìlànà tí gbogbo èròjà ṣara lóore inú rẹ̀ ò fi lè yingin. Oúnjẹ aṣara lóore ni, adùn inú rẹ̀ àfẹnuwó, ó sì dára fún gbogbo ẹbí. Nítorí náà, tí àtijẹ cornflakes bá dé, rí i dájú pé Old Flaked Nasco cornflakes ló yàn láàyò. Oúnjẹ aládùn tó dára ní gbogbo ìgbà.
Òkú ọmọ kì í ṣe tèmi àtòkú aya o.
Ẹni àfàdúrà gbáre o. Ó tó yá ká lọ kọ gbogbo ń tà fẹ́ nínú pàdé àdúrà lágbà yìí kú ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta 72 hours with God. Bàbá ìsọjí orí afẹ́fẹ́ Prọfẹ̀t Táíwò Òjó. Ti CAC májẹ̀mú àánú ni Ọlọ́run máa ṣe àpàdé àdúrà ìfúnlóṣù mẹ́ta. Àkórí ìtìjú yìí bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti Friday 11, Saturday 12 àti Sunday 13. Nígbà tí mo wò ó fín. When I look at it more closely. Gbogbo ẹrù ogun tí ì ṣe tiẹ̀. Ó tó àkókò fún láti wá jálẹ̀ nú àdúrà. Ìkórìtà ìpínyà pẹ̀lú ìwà tógun ní 72 hours títí ọ̀tà yìí. Ọ̀pọ̀ ìrìnsí Ọlọ́run àti àwọn olórí ẹ̀mí bíi Pápẹ́ Àlàbí. Dáre Mélòdì. Ìlàjà Kíntúndé Ọlọ́run sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kẹ́ni ológun àrà. Bridget Adénúbi Esther. Ni wọ́n máa pẹ̀lú bàbá ìsọjí orí afẹ́fẹ́ Prọfẹ̀t Táíwò Òjó ṣiṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ṣẹ́. Mexican tó wà ní kìlómítà 18. Ifẹ̀ Ìbàdàn expressway ló ṣègèrè láti máa pàdé. Ọkọ̀ ọ̀fẹ́ máa wà ní Ìwó Road àti Olúbàdàn estate. Aago mẹ́sàn-án òwúrọ̀ tá a bá ti wọnú pàdé àdúrà lọ́jọ́ Friday. Ọjọ́ Monday la máa ṣorí ọ̀fẹ́. Ẹrù ogun tí kì í ṣe tiẹ̀. Mexican ní kò wá lọ já sí nínú àdúrà.
Nowadays, I keep saying "aww" a whole lot because everyone would stop surprising me. My hubby does the dishes and prepare the kids for school before I wake. Aww. Even when my daughter makes me a cup of tea with 3 Crowns milk.
Mom, we've got you now and always with the low cholesterol goodness your heart needs to keep the rhythm of the family going. 3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
YS Live.
Àwọn èèyàn wà bá a dá sí o ṣùgbọ́n ẹni nǹkan rọ́ọ̀lù wá.
Ó kọlù wá gan ni o àyín tó kọlù wá pọ̀ àdìtì ẹ̀ tí
ire ni kó ṣubú lù mí o àtayọ̀.
Àmì o ṣùgbọ́n iṣẹ́ rí tó ti ṣubú lù wá má jẹ́ ń sọ kí n má sọ̀rọ̀ òdì. Ṣé rí ta bá ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé social media is so unfortunate that we're not serious as a country about this. As a people. ìyẹn ni ò tí ì jẹ́ ká wọ̀ ìtọ́ ń pariwo ní ìsìn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ bàlàbàlà kí n má fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ mo mọ̀ pé ẹ máa mọ̀ wọ́n ti mi rí bẹ́ẹ̀
ó mọ bolobolo náà.
ẹjọ́ tá a bá ní pé àwọn ọmọ wa wo gbọ́ irú orin bẹ́ẹ̀ nílé lójú títì tó bá dé Sango Mọ́kọ́lá roundabout àwọn tó ń ta cassette wọ́n á play kẹ́ tó gbọ́ bàlàbàlà ti bọ́ sínú etí àwọn ọmọ wa ẹ máa wá máa ní pé irú gangan là ń lọ today lẹ́ni tàdé ó láwọn àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó jẹ́ pé ó láwọn múvì àwọn eré tó jẹ́ pé ẹ lè fi hàn nílùú wọn tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ní regulatory body wọ́n ní national kò sí bí ẹni náà ṣe lè popular kó jẹ́ popular movie bóyá Nollywood ni tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti release ẹ̀ ní US wọ́n lè show ẹ̀ ní some countries. ní ibi tá a dé kò sí àjọ tó ń mójútó àwọn tá à ń fi sórí àwọn social media there is no regulatory body that is monitoring the content on the social media. àwọn ọmọ wa dẹ̀ rí àwọn nǹkan yìí wọ́n ń rí wọ́n ń gbọ́ àtúwọ́ láwọn unsolicited advert ó tiẹ̀ tó àwọn ọmọ ṣẹ́ mọ̀ pé ńgbà táwọn àdàgbà tó bá fẹ́ wò wòkúwò wà á lọ sí cyber cafe wà á rìn ní kó tó dé cyber cafe yẹn tó bá tiẹ̀ wá dé àwọn ẹ ti máa mọ àwọn ọmọ burúkú yẹn àwọn ló máa lọ sí kọ̀ǹpútà tó wà ní ẹ̀gbẹ́ lẹ́yìn lọ́wọ́ ní kọ́nà lọ́ ti máa lọ máa
kọ́nà ni wọ́n ń wò gbàgbà
lọ́ ti máa lọ máa ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn lórí fóònù ẹ o ò tiẹ̀ fẹ́ wò ṣùgbọ́n advert yẹn á bọ́ sórí fóònù ẹ tó bá ti wá bọ́ sí àti gbé kúrò ò ní rí ọ̀nà láti fi gbé kúrò títí tó fi máa fi ìranù tó fẹ́ fi wọ̀n ẹ̀ tán kó tó rí gbé kúrò àwọn ọmọ wa dẹ̀ ní access sí àwọn fóònù wa afẹ́nikọ́ máa ṣe assignment ní ìsìn a lè dá wọn tọ́ ní Nàìjíríà we can't train these children in isolation tá a bá ní ó dá ní Nàìjíríà káwọn ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé tí ò bá ti dé ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga kó máa lo fóònù ní ìsìn tó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àwọn ọmọ pínísí wa náà ló ń wà nílé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga where you now have 14-15 in tertiary institutions so kí là ń sọ ṣe rí pé n tó kọlù wá ó kọlù wá ní látorígun tó pọ̀ ní ló ti kọlù wá tí àti ẹ̀dẹ̀ tí ì mọ ìta fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ àwọn orin tá à ń gbọ́ àwọn orin tá à ń produce ní ìsìn àdàkà lọ sí private kí n sáré shake table yẹn dẹ̀ àwọn people yìí tó yẹ pé tí wọn ò bá tí ì kọrin nípa oògùn drugs tí wọn ò bá tí ì kọ nípa ìbálòpọ̀ tí ò bá tí ì kọ nípa àti yahoo àti ní owó kíákíá wọn ò tí ì kọrin àwọn orin yẹn ló ń kọ tó fi ń di star ṣé wàá rà wá private companies àwa wá là ń fún ọ ní ambassadorial deal àwa endorse wọn àwa pe ẹni báyìí ní star kí là ń sọ modeling ìtumọ̀ nǹkan tá à ń sọ ni kó tó lè di star ó gbọ́dọ̀ kọrin burúkú ìtumọ̀ tá à ń sọ fáwọn ọmọ wa náà ni.
gbogbo ohun tó dẹ̀ nǹkan gbogbo ohun tó fi ń kọrin ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń ṣe.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
pàápàá ní àwọn university tá à ń sọ yìí.
ẹ wo.
private university everywhere.
àti private àti public àti government kò sí kankan tẹ́ bá mọ̀ táwọn ọmọ wa ń ṣe ní ìsìn oríṣiríṣi nǹkan táwọn ọmọ wa tí wọ́n ti fi ọwọ́ wọn lé ní ìsìn yìí ọmọ ṣe ní tó kọlù wá ó kọlù wá ní ọ̀nà tó pọ̀ gan a gbọ́dọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ká tẹ̀ mú pé éèjì wo ló yẹ káwọn ọmọ ìtì ẹ̀ ti délé ìwé ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga kò dẹ̀ sóbì ńlé tó máa ràn lọ́wọ́ láti lè tiẹ̀ ní pé okay to balance the stress kí wá ló máa di àárọ̀ rẹ̀ kan tó máa ní àkílódé orí ń fún ẹni ò lè kàwé ìwé ò wọrí ó yá sáré gba kínní tó bá gbà tó lo eléyìí wo gbogbo tó ń kọ́ ẹ ní kíláàsì yẹn á máa dúró ní irọ́dẹ̀ ni orí ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yí díẹ̀díẹ̀ ká tó mọ̀ we are having increased rate of children committing suicides adolescents under 18 or before 25 committing suicide bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
mo kà yẹn ní news ní last week.
àwọn wò pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa ó mo ṣe ní pé n tó kọlù wá ó kọlù wá ní ọ̀nà tó pọ̀ gan.
08091551055 we have just about 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes. Our time is fast spent. I think I need 1 more hour on this program. 08091551055 08056998678 07069493000. Alawode Olajide Samson sent a message on our Facebook page. It says, childhood emerged along with mass literacy. In contemporary society, new technologies like television and the internet blur this separation, and many children are now much more able to access the adulthood. As a result, childhood, as we know, is completely disappearing, except we are not saying the truth. Too bad.
Yes.
Terribly bad.
Hello?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hello, Mr. Yemi Sonde, well done, sir.
Thank you. Who are we speaking with?
My name is Pastor Olajide from Orilode.
Okay, good morning, sir. Let's have you, quickly.
I am not impressed by the topic that was with us today.
Good.
I must tell you the fact that this is one of the hard points some of us have been having all this while. And I want to major issue of modeling and permit me to escape what is happening in our society. But to see some, I'm sorry to say, some people who are criminals that have been celebrated. And so for instance now, you see some people who have committed crime, who are going to see, and they get back, they will be celebrated all over. And before you know it, goes down to the level of these children. It's easy that, oh yes, I too can also take it to crime and become relevant. It is worrisome. It's worrisome.
Thank you, sir.
And may I end on this note? Somebody said, whenever you look at the children, you are looking at your future.
Whenever you look at your children, you are looking at
the future.
As a future.
Yes, sir. So another said, our children, they are our future. They did not help us so that we don't in this today.
I usually even like to say that children are the guarantee of tomorrow. You know, when they are damaged today, there's really nothing to look forward to tomorrow. And the truth about it is a lot of parents are not informed. And so as a people, we must increase parenting education. That even watching TV, long hours, you understand the effect. It has effect. Our children are not able to reason properly anymore.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
My name is Ade Ajibade.
Let's have you quickly.
Okay, how do we tackle the issue of social media in handling growth in children and the exposure to all sorts of nonsense that is affecting their mental health?
Maybe you should let me.
Okay, please quickly.
Yeah, so thank you very much. What do we do regarding the role of social media? You see, like I said earlier, social media exposes a child to the world. You can't say who the person the child is interacting with. So what do you do if as a parent you need to take your child into the midst of the world? You want to give your child access to the world, and there is a need for you to do that for whatever reason. Maybe they are requesting that the child has access to phone because of schooling. What do? You will monitor the child. You see, parental guidance is very, very important. You should have a specific time when you give the child the phone. So any child less than, I'm sorry I'm stating this again. Some people may not completely agree with me. Anybody that has not yet entered the university system, that person, if that child is still in secondary school with you in your house, anytime they are going to have access to the phone, you must be there with them.
Yeah.
Okay, how many hours do you need? Okay, you want to check Pythagoras theorem, or you want to check this formula. Oh yeah, do it. Let me see it on YouTube. Don't let them have the phone alone. You see, there's a difference between somebody mistakenly seeing a video and somebody having access to a video for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. There's a difference between somebody having a brief interaction with an unknown person and somebody sitting down for hours interacting with somebody they don't know. But when there is parental guidance, you'll be able to cut it short immediately. The environment is rotting significantly, the music videos, the whatever they are exposed to. But if the parent is there to monitor, to ensure that, no, this is bad, this is wrong, don't do this, don't watch this, that is part of what the child himself will imbibe. The adolescent will also know that, oh, this is not right, this is good. When they eventually become independent and they get into the school environment and they are alone, they will know that this is something that my parents tell me not to do. You mentioned something about substance use, the fact that people take cannabis and everything. You see, the problem is that we are pushing our adolescents into adulthood early. We don't realize that there's emotional maturity. It's not just about cognitive intellectual maturity. A child can score 350 in jump and be 14 years old, but that child is not yet emotionally matured. So that child enters into the university, sees other people smoking and thinks, they are smoking, let me try it with them. Sees other people womanizing and thinks, let me also try it. Sees them watching bad things, also joins them, because they are not emotionally mature. So parental guidance is very, very important.
Let me have one more last call, the very last one, and we take it to next week. Okay, you wanted to add something. Do we have a call there?
Okay, so what I was just going to add is, you see, the building blocks, the foundation is very, very important, where we put out the right values to our children. It's very, very important that as a house, that you have value system in your house. Now, when it comes to social media also...
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost that call. Yes, Modupe Praise on our Facebook page says, This is a call for value reorientation. Early adulthood, unprocessed children, all hands must be on deck. I am happy and encouraged by today's program. God bless you, sir and ma.
I'm glad to that at least we've taught somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
So, sir, I was just talking about the values, that you must establish the values from home before the child actually is introduced to that.
I'm taking your parting shot now.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. I'll leave it at that. Parents should be involved in their children's life. Love them in your language and love them in their language. Set boundaries for them, values as they grow, and be the example that they need.
And your parting shot, sir.
So it is very important for parents to ensure that they provide necessary limits and control and, oversight for what their children do. Whatever you are going to expose your child to, make sure you are there to monitor, to ensure that they are exposed to the right things and you prevent them from being exposed to the wrong influences.
Dr. Alim Abdul Rahman is a lecturer, Center for Child and Adolescent Mental Health, University of Ibadan, and consultant psychiatrist, UCH Ibadan. Thank you very much for coming on my show this morning.
I'm very happy to be here. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Mrs. Sibukun Oluwa Oteshile.
You still pay your fine.
Okay, now. Child rights advocate, founder, Hope for Second Chance Foundation. It's so wonderful having you. So interesting. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thank you very much.
And taking it from that perspective of a mother. Yes, I think I really love that part of you.
Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure. Anytime we'll call you back and we'll talk about anything that has to do with
no
our children.
But after we'll still resolve our matter.
Okay, there's still a matter to be resolved.
There is a matter to resolve.
Okay, what matter is that? Money matter, be fine matter, be which one matter?
Go off mic first.
Which matter are we resolving?
Off your mic.
Off the mic matter. All right, Progress My Media is my official photographer. Desmond to the G is the man on the console minister here. And Damola Ologunfe, the internal producer. What is this one doing here? What's her name again? Who? Toyosi, yeah. Sorry, I forgot the name. Àti Wabeni olórúkọ kan tí mo ń pè. Atakun ayọ̀ káàkiri. Yóò máa dùn ní kò ní kan. Yemi Sonde lórúkọ tèmi. Àmàlà ìyá àfẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ tútù. Máa ń gbádùn ẹ̀ gan ní gbígbóná gbáà. Yemi Sonde Media House, Yemi Sonde Crescent, Fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ Express Bus Stop, nílé Ìbàdàn. Ibẹ̀ lọ́fíìsì wa wà. www.yselimited.com. ẹ lọ sórí website wa 08035529883. nọ́mbà Yemi Sonde ni fún ìpolówó ọjà nìkan ni o. Fẹ́ràn Babalọ́lá mọ́ǹtì ẹ̀ náà rè yóò pé 60. Fẹ́ràn mi at 60 ní June 21. Yóò máa dùn ní kò ní kan. A tún pàdé lágbára Ọlọ́run tó bá dọjọ́ mẹ́jọ.
We educate. That's why